Now Blossom is back, and welcome back to another episode of Top Drives and another episode of What Can You Get from That Pack. And of course, the pack in question is the 2006 carbon fiber. Now, we have gone through this a little bit a couple days ago. We did some speculations on what cars might be useful and what aren't useful. But now that we know what the actual track sets are, I can finally tell you what cars are going to be absolutely key for this event. And also, outside of the finals, what cars you can get from this pack that might help you and your garage in the longer run in the game. So of course, you need 2006 cars to enter for the final to win the Bentley Anovia. Ah, let's go! I said it right. The Bentley Anovia. Shout out to this guy in the comments. He said that it was pronounced Hunaudières, do better, and yeah, I gotta do better. And there you go, Bentley Anovia. Woo! We got it right. I learned a new word. I also know what it means. Apparently, it is named after the long straight in Le Mans, which I honestly just call it the long straight in Le Mans. But it's called Hunaudières. I'm gonna say this non-stop now. Hunaudières. Okay, it would be funny if that was actually wrong, but I watched like a couple videos. Not only did I read the pronunciation, which a lot of people have been telling me in the last episode's comments, in the last Bentley review comments, I also decided to watch some videos on YouTube just so I can really hear it. It was funny, there was a video of Richard Hammond reviewing this, and he didn't even try and say Hunaudières, dude. If you watch the video, the first 2 minutes, the name isn't said, okay? And in the first 30 seconds, when Richard Hammond introduces the car, he's like, "This is a Bentley." That's it. He just stops at Bentley. He doesn't even say Hunaudières. I mean, I'm sure he knows how to say it, but I bet he didn't want to embarrass himself or anything. Anyway, let's talk final track set. So here we go. I'm gonna put it on the screen. Shout out to Kevin. He posted this in my server. I'm not sure if he was the one that made it. So if Kevin wasn't the one that made it, then shout out to whoever made it, because it's actually a really beautiful graphic. And if it is Kevin, then that is amazing, really. But let's check it out. Track set number 1. We got a 0 to 100 gravel off-road. Was anybody expecting that? I wasn't expecting that. Did we get a single off-road prize car in the Tri-Series or the prelims? I don't think so. Off-road was completely out of my mind. I wasn't thinking about it, but yeah, there you go. Gravel, city streets, small, dry, twisty circuit, wet, twisty road, and a 1 mile. Second track set 0 to 100. City streets, medium, dry. Indoor karting, city streets, small, wet, and rally cross, small circuit, mixed. Third track set, car park, city streets medium, city streets small, both wet this time, twisty road dirt, also wet, and twisty road dry. And then on the final track set is indoor karting, city streets medium, indoor karting again, quarter mile, and the Monaco hairpin. So basically what you want, and I think, yeah, the Monaco hairpin is the mixed. I'm just looking at the final track set because it looks a little different from the rest, because this one doesn't have 2 city streets unlike the rest. But yeah, you're basically looking at 2 city streets, 1 off-road, 1 to 2 rain, 1 fast, 1 hybrid, 1 twisty. It is a cluster of just track sets all jumbled in together. They are looking for variety here. Most finals, it's usually 2 fast, 3 twisty, all dry, all low. But this one is you need medium ground clearance cars, you need off-road cars, you need a drag car, you need a twisty car, you need a little bit of everything. These are some really hard track sets, to be honest with you. Really hard track sets for, a car that just isn't that... It's not the highest caliber of Tri-Series prize cars. That 0 to 60 is definitely not a selling point. I'm really hoping that this car is amazing MRA because it has the W16 that was later used in what I believe is the Bugatti Veyron. So I might be wrong on that with the Hunaudières, but I know it has a W16, okay? So I hope the MRA is really good on this, because I know I trash on this car a lot because it deserves it. It doesn't look like a great car on paper, but I just hope that the MRA is good because I know I'm getting it. Because although the track sets are super it needs a variety, for some reason all the stars aligned for me. And I have the variety. I have a lot of the key cars actually, and as you can see, I'm on the road maxing out my peaking. That's kind of funny. I need a car that I can't pronounce to win another car I can't pronounce. Well, I know it now. It's the peaking to win the Hunaudières. But anyway, let's get into it. Let me show you the 2016 carbon fiber. So 2006 non-prize car. Open that filter, click all cars, baby, and let's go into ultra rare. So let's do a quick rundown of everything you can get. 69 cars, very nice. 16 ultra rares, 19 epics, and 6 legendaries, and let's get into it. So let's talk about ultra rares first. What are the key ultra rares that you are going to need for this final? Now, much like the Acura finals that we had before, if you have maybe one ultra rare in your hand, you might be able to get tier 1. Might, okay? Might. I don't want to confirm it. You might be able. This is a different level from the Acura finals because unlike the Acura finals, everyone kind of started from the same point. But in this final, you know, there's some cars in here that are absolute OGs. They've been in here, like the Nissan Pathfinder, it's been in the game since the start. So if I played longer, if a player played longer, he had a higher chance of getting a Pathfinder than someone that started playing a couple months ago, if that makes sense. So this is a different level. It might be a little harder in this one. Also, this isn't a rerun, so that might make it harder because everyone that is playing doesn't have the car, and that means everyone will be in the Tri-Series. But anyway, let's talk about ultra rares. We start with the Hummer H3, the Europa, the Cobalt, the Tribeca, the Pathfinder, and the AMG G55. All trash. Out the window, not going to help you in the finals, not going to help you in the long run. Next up is the Chevrolet Trailblazer SS. Now this one is going to help you in the long run. This thing has withstood the test of time again and again and again. It was the best ultra rare American dragster for off-road before American Dream. Then American Dream came, brought over like 200 cars, it stayed the best. Then American Frontier came, brought about 180 cars, and it still stayed the best. It's incredible, the Trailblazer. Now don't mention the Durango, okay, like I said, ultra rare. And it's still the best ultra rare dragster in general out of every ultra rare dragster for the test bowl and the 1 mile. I know it's second best to in the quarter and a half to the G63, but once again, it still beats the G63 on a 1 mile and a test bowl. This thing is insane. So that is definitely a keeper. All of you guys obviously get one from the campaign, but honestly, it's my recommendation for you to get a second one as well. Moving on would be the Imperial, the XLRV, and the Magnum SRT8. All of them are absolute hot garbage out the window. Next is the Charger SRT8. Now, with the recent buff that it received, it's a decent car for the long run. I genuinely think that, Dodge bias aside, it's actually a genuinely decent car. Not only because it has decent stats and it has decent MRA now because of the buff that it got. It used to have horrible MRA, now it's like in the 70s, I think. It also has a lot of niche requirements. It's a 5-seater, if I believe correctly. It's definitely a saloon. Yep, it's a 5-seater. It's a saloon. It's medium ground clearance. It has decent stats, decent handling, decent MRA. It's a great car for clubs. It also has the muscle car tag, the American Dream tag, and of course the Christmas collection tag, which, you know, we're never going to see ever again. But it has a lot of niches, and for that reason alone, it makes it not that bad. Okay, so yeah, I would be okay with the Charger. I would be okay with the Trailblazer. Then we have the Z4M Coupe. Once again, this is a great keeper because it hits 94 handling. When you think about it, German ultra rares in top drives do not handle. It's kind of weird. American cars are the ones known for not handling, but it's the German cars that are in the ultra ranks that are the worst handlers out of all the countries. I'm not joking, you can go check it out. The highest handling ultra that isn't a prize car is the Volkswagen TCR at 95, and this one hits 94, so it's kind of like the second highest. Now that is pretty low when the highest is 95. When you think about it, you have countries like the UK and France when they have cars hitting 98, 97, so 95 is pretty low, but this is 94, and although, you know, the handling representation for Germany is like low in terms of when you compare them to all the other countries in the game. Let's say that it was just a German event, then 94 is considered high because the TCR is the best bet at 95, and then you have cars at 94 like the Z4M Coupe. Now, along with 94 handling, this car also has a you know decent top speed. It's not like 120 or anything like that, and it has decent 0 to 60. It goes down to about like 4.2 or something like that. I haven't maxed out, we can go check it out in a bit, but the Z4M Coupe definitely is an amazing car, and I think that it's genuinely more of an RQ60 than a 58, but you know what, we'll keep it at 58 because of its RQ. It is so good, you know, like if it was RQ60 I would say it's decent, but because the RQ is so low and it seems like a bargain for the stats that you get, the Z4M is a great car, so I would endorse that. Now moving on, the Pontiac GTO, this is going to be the best medium ground clearance car, best medium ground clearance Ultra that you can get from the pack. So remember I said that you can get by with maybe one Ultra? The GTO is going to be one of those one Ultras. If you had a hand that had like a Legendary and 3 Epics and you had no other car, you had to put in an Ultra, the GTO might push you through because it is going to be the best City Streets car outside of all the epics, you know what I mean? So it's decent. It's decent, all right? And of course, when it comes to the City Streets, it's basically just a better version of the SRT8. So I would endorse this car too. The GTO is a good car. I would recommend keeping it. And the next one is the Nissan Murano GTC. This is going to be another one of those Ultras where it's like, if you have it, you probably can get by because besides the GTC, the next best thing for all those off-road track sets would be the Peking to Paris. So if you don't have the Peking to Paris, this literally is the second best option. So I would go with the Murano GTC. I would say it's a keeper. And of course, in the longer run, outside of the final, it's actually a pretty decent car as well. It has amazing MRA. It's like 85 for an SUV. It's really good. And it handles really well as well. It hits 85 handling four-wheel drive. That is really decent. What really pulls the GTC down is that the 0 to 60 is actually atrocious. 7.70 to 60 makes it one of the worst in its category. But then again, it has that good MRA and it has really good handling. At the end of the day, it's a bit of a conflict because it's like, yeah, you have MRA, so you kind of want to do 996, but then it handles really well, so you want a 969. I'll tell you right now, I only own one and I have it 969. I chose the handling over the MRA just because the 0 to 60 is just too weak on this. It's not going to beat the Honda Pilot anywhere else in Japanese events, which is only when you're going to be using it. Next up is the BMW M6 convertible. This is a bit of a hot take, okay? This is a bit of a hot take. It's a keeper. Definitely, if you get it, you should be happy. It's an amazing car, amazing MRA, handles over 90, and it gets like 3.80 to 60, something like that. It's incredible. But I do not think that this is going to be a key car for this finals. I'm serious. I don't think it's going to be a key car for this finals because if you got this, it will kind of be the car that you want to use for the drags or the twisty, right? For the dry stuff. Now, if you use it for the drags, you would be putting up against, let's say you manage to break the top 10, you might have a handful of like a couple of epic twisties and you maybe have the Peking to Paris and you might as well broke into the top 10. But if you're using the M6 for the drag, you're going to be facing most likely cars like the 908 RC or the Gumpert Apollo. And unfortunately, that BMW is going to lose to the Gumpert and the 908 by probably over 100 points or maybe 90 to 100 points. So for that reason alone, I think that, yeah, it's not worth it. Why I think that the GTO and the Murano GTC might get you by is because, first of all, the GTC might only lose by 50 and the GTO might only lose by 50 as well, 50, 55, that kind of range, because obviously we lose a lot more points on the drags, which is probably where you want to put that M6 convertible on. If not, if you're going to put it on the twisties and it goes up against, I don't know, a max like Corvette Z06 or even worse, a Donkavort, yeah, not looking very good. Not looking very good, I have to say. But yeah, moving on to the epics now. But don't get me wrong, the M6 is a great car to have for the long run outside of the finals. Moving on to the epics now, we have the S3, the S65, the M45, the Continental GT, the Audi S8, the Roof R compressor, and the 911 GT3. And I'm also going to throw the C12 La Turbi into the mix. All those are hot garbage, out of the window, not going to help you in the final, not going to help you in the long run. It's weird because ever since the Roof R compressor got nerfed, I see it everywhere now. It was eligible in a couple of finals since the nerf. It was eligible in the Christmas collection, and there were a couple roof events that we've had. So I'm seeing this all over the place now. It's pretty funny that suddenly I need to use this car everywhere because of the nerf or whatever, because I got rid of it, because I used to have one and I got rid of it and now I see it everywhere, or now it's needed everywhere. I don't see it everywhere because everybody got rid of it because it got nerfed, okay? But yeah, all those are hot garbage, all out of the window, but some great cars. Key cars. The first one is the Volvo S80 V8. This is going to be the best car for the wet city streets because, like I said, that Audi would be useful if it ended up being like a Santa Monica city street wet or Ocean City Street wet. Mostly Ocean City Street wet because Santa Monica, you don't even need... Oh wait, no. Santa Monica is Ocean City Street. I was thinking of Monaco. Monaco City Streets, you don't even need medium. But for Ocean City Streets, that would have been the best place for the Audi. But these are vanilla city streets, I do believe, in the final. I don't actually know because I haven't joined yet. Oh wait, no, they are vanilla. They are vanilla. Because if they weren't vanilla City Streets, they would tell you it's different. But yeah, City Streets medium. So yeah, this is gonna be a key car, the Volvo S80 V8. I have that max because I needed it for the Viper GTSR finals. So that's already one key car in the bag for me. The second one, like I said, the Peking to Paris, it's the best off-roader for this event. I wasn't expecting any off-roads in this final, like, because there were no legendary off-roaders, and there aren't a lot of ultra-rare off-roaders either, and there's only one epic off-roader, so I wasn't expecting all-surface tires to be needed, but hey, I'll take it, because I do have the Peking to Paris, so, woo, let's go, baby! But yeah, 155 top speed, 4.80 to 604 handling. I don't think this is a car that a lot of players are going to use in the long run, but it's definitely going to be a key car in this finals, and it's actually not that bad. I'll have it maxed out, and then I'll really know how good it is. But yeah, it's a key car for the finals. If you do get that, you basically rule the off-road section in the final. So congratulations if you get the Peking to Paris from the pack. And if you get the S80, you rule the wet city streets in the final. So there you go. But yeah, moving on now, we have the D8. This is definitely a keeper, a key car, amazing for the long run, amazing for the event. Max's baby out, it hits like what, 2,998? Insane stats. And of course, it handles like a beast, and it weighs nothing. 630 kgs, amazing little machine. I'm glad to have it maxed. I also maxed it during ER. Moving on, we have the Viper SRT 10, the 911 GT3 RS, the RS4, and the Roof RK Coupe. Those four epics are going to be decent for the finals. They're not going to be key 10 out of 10, but they're definitely going to be decent. I think the key ones are still mostly the Peking, the S80, and the Donkey, because the Donkey is, although it handles 2 less than the GT3, because of its lightness and because of the 0 to 60 difference, this is still going to beat the Porsche in many of the track sets. So this is definitely the key car, and then this one is just, you know, it's good, but it's not the best that you can have. Next is the BMW M6. Once again, it's another car that I have, which also ends up being the best that you can have, because this is going to probably be the best car for the dry city streets. Now, this would be an interesting one, because let's not forget that the Peugeot 908 RC is also medium ground clearance, but as you can see, the handling difference is 77 to 85, but then 3.5 to 4.0. So I do have that M6. I would very reluctantly max it out for the finals. I don't want to max it out for the finals, but I know I have to, because the main reason why I don't want to max it out is because it's probably gonna go low, right? This car is not medium. You know how I feel about German epics that are medium. They're all gonna go low. Hutch messed up on all of them, but hey, whatever. I got the chance. I gotta take the chance. So it'll be pretty interesting to see how the M6 goes up against the 908 RC, but I would say both of them are definitely key. So the M6 is key, the 908 is key, because the 908 is going to kill it on the drags. If you don't have the Gumpert or Polo, the 908 is definitely your second best bet, because it's going to beat both the Corvettes on the drag, it's going to beat the Gallardo on the drag, the SLR, the 911, and the Murcielago. But I'm not sure if it's going to beat the CCX. That's going to be an interesting little fight. But besides that, this might be the second best or the third best for the drags. Moving on would be the Corvettes. We have the Z06 and the Lingenfelter, both really great substitutes if you do not have a Donkervoort. So it's going to be a great car for the Twisty, or if you don't have the 911 GT3 RS. The specialization for the Z06 and the Z06 Lingenfelter would kind of be like hairpin road, fast circuit, Monaco city streets, because that one's all low. So if there were any of those track sets, those would definitely be key, but I don't think there are, so I'm just going to say that they are just really good. But yeah, moving on to the legendaries now, once again, very niche. We have the Gallardo, the CCX, the Murcielago. Now, I have to say the Gallardo, the 911 Turbo, and the Murcielago, they're all kind of useless, because they are only legendaries, or they only have higher RQ. Like, their RQs are inflated because of their drivetrain, and I've said this many times, alright? Like, the Gallardo, it has the stats of maybe an RQ 75, but because it has four-wheel drive, it goes up to 80. I mean, let's compare it. 4185, 4085. See what I mean? Like, that it's so inflated because of four-wheel drive. So honestly, the Gallardo, 911 Turbo, Murcielago, they're all gonna be useless for this final. Unless the Murcielago, maybe you might get some use out of it, but you have to like 2-star it at least, right? But those three are kind of gonna be obsolete. The Mercedes SLR is also gonna be kind of useless, because in order to really get value out of it, you need to max it out. You know what I mean? If not, you're better off with a Corvette, because the Corvette is going to beat the McLaren, okay? Because the Corvette, you know, is most likely going to be maxed, but the McLaren isn't. So that leaves us with two legendaries, the CCX and the Gumpert Apollo. The Gumpert Apollo is the best car that you can get from this pack, and once again, I have it. Like I said, the stars just aligned for me. My hand is actually perfect. I'm not joking. My hand is actually perfect. But yeah, the Gumpert is amazing. It's a key car. It's the best one for the 1 mile drag, I do believe. And there are no test bowls, so the CCX, you know, that's a little hit to the CCX, because I think the CCX would have been the best car for the test bowl if there was one. But these two cars, I would say, are definite keepers for the final. Now, when it comes to the long run, obviously, I would say all legendaries are good, and you should keep every single one. That's what I would usually say, but honestly, I'm gonna be real with you, the Lamborghini Gallardo Spider first generation is one of the absolute worst legendaries in the game. And if you got it, and if you were to sell it, I wouldn't question you. I mean, if I got it, I wouldn't sell it. But if you did, I wouldn't question you. I can see the logic in that, to be fair, because this thing's trash. It's absolutely trash. But that being said, that's going to be the pack. So, of course, I got to give you my verdict. Should I open it? I'm not going to open it because, I mean, 100% I'm not going to open it because my hand's already amazing. But should you open it? Now, this is a pretty interesting one. I would say that if you have a really decent shot, like let's say you have maybe 3 or 4 of the key cards already, then I would try and open it to get the 5th. Mostly if you have 3, because usually if you have 4 of the key cards already, you can just put in a 1 single ultra rare and I think you'll be fine. But if you have 3 key ultra rares, then, not key ultra rares, 3 key cars, I would definitely open the packs because you're that close to getting the Bentley Anovia. Okay, that's the only time where I think I would open it, because overall as a pack, it's not that bad. The epics in the pack are actually okay, and there's some decent ultra rares in here as well, but the legendaries are abysmal. I'm sorry, like in the long run, the Apollo is like the only good one. That CCX is one of the worst Koenigseggs that you can get, and the Apollo, although I said it's decent, it's the worst Apollo that you can get. The best car from this pack is the worst car from its brand, and I think that's how I'm gonna sum up this pack. So should you open it? No. Only if you're really close to the Hunaudières for getting a great hand for winning the Hunaudières, then I would say open it. But if you don't have a close hand, just don't. Just don't. It's just not amazing. It's just not a good pack. Honestly, the best pack that we had this week was that 2016 carbon fiber. So I hope you opened that, because that was a really good pack. I'm gonna be real with you. But yeah, anyway guys, that's going to be it for today. I hope you found this helpful. Tell me how you're going to be doing in the finals, what your hand is looking like. I would love to know. So tell me down in the comments below. But good luck to you guys for the Bentley Anovia. I wish you the best. Remember to stay safe, wash your hands, and blossom out. Peace.